So, Trudeau he tells it like it is. He doesn't understand big numbers. Which is, heyo. So, recently, Pierre came out with a little bit of a montage clip together video going over his whole entire thing of calling Trudeau liberals wackos, or, just following the terminology of wackonomics, and so on and so forth. And there were some things that I thought were kind of funny, and there's nothing interesting going on today. There's very little that is going on that is, like, piquing of interest, or anything that really speaks out to me as being like, oh, I should cover this. And so, I found this video, and it's like, this would be a good video to react to, because it's pretty funny, and I like it. I'm not gonna go over the whole thing, so video will be down below, go check it out. But without further ado, let us get into it.
But is the Liberal government of Canada really comprised of wackos? Let's start with their leader, Justin Trudeau. He invented a new economic doctrine, wackonomics. The first rule of wackonomics: no math allowed.
The economy is not numbers. The economy is people.
Rent is a number. Gas, food, and home prices are numbers. Before wackonomics, humanity was stuck with old-fashioned equation. Numbers equals prices equals what people pay. Pythagoras said, numbers rule the universe, but not to worry. Wackonomics overturns the numbers.
I have an inability to handle small numbers and little calculations.
You'll forgive me if I don't think about monetary policy.
We're focused on Canadians. I'll let the bankers worry about the economy.
But if you use your credit card to go back to school, or if you use your credit card, you go into debt to build an expansion on your house, that is how you grow a strong economy.
So, Trudeau he tells it like it is. He doesn't understand big numbers, which is quite devastating for a leader of Canada, or a leader in any sort of way. He doesn't understand big numbers. He's supposed to be the leader. He's supposed to see the big picture, and yet he doesn't understand big numbers. How did he... This is how our economy sucks. He doesn't understand big numbers, and he keeps on piling on to the deficit. And now we're at 62 billion of a deficit. So he is telling on himself by saying, I don't understand big numbers. He understands people, or the minority of people, in that he only cares about the very minority in comparison to the majority. So he's telling on himself of being a wacko leader, in that he doesn't understand how to be a leader or understand the big picture. Now there's a little bit on Chrystia Freeland here. Perfect segue there, Pierre, but let us get into that.
Trudeau's closest ally, Chrystia Freeland, knows the struggle of commoners who drive to work every day.
A fact that still shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car, because I live in downtown Toronto. I'm like, 300 meters from the nearest subway. I walk, I take the subway.
While driving around in rural Alberta last week, Chrystia Freeland was pulled over for speeding.
What shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car.
Caught in 4K.
Caught you in 20K HDR 1200 FPS Super Nintendo iOS 49 Blu-ray Ultraviolet Radiation 1080p PlayStation 5.
Lying. I don't drive. But yet she gets pulled over. Like what? They pulled over the train and then found out Chrystia specifically for the news article or something? Like, come on. So, once again, her being a wacko follower of Trudeau, she tells on herself by the fact that she is lying. And also, Chrystia Freeland, being the finance minister of Canada, while also not being able to connect with people who are dealing with the massive financial burden of carbon tax. Like, telling on themselves for them being trashy leaders in the fact that they just can't connect with Canadians at all. She lies about the fact that she doesn't drive. Clearly she does, because she got pulled over for driving. And she's also just trying to be Hylian in the fact that she is acting like, oh, woe is me, I don't drive, or something like that. I'm assuming it was something about public transit, or perhaps even something about the carbon emissions and how she was saving the planet by taking the train, but how she is the finance minister, and yet she can't even connect with what most Canadians are dealing with, which is Trudeau's enormous carbon tax. So, kinda stupid. But anywho.
Now the job goes to this wacko, Mark Holland. It's not unusual for him to get pissed off and go on wacko tirades.
I have spent my entire life, as you have, fighting for the good in this world. And for you to accuse a good person of not caring about human life, shame on you.
But good thing he knows how to let out all that energy.
I was the first health minister, probably the first member of parliament, who talked about the importance of pleasure in sex. What does it mean if sex isn't affirming of who you are and isn't pleasurable, if you don't have that as a family value?
Okay, I take this moment. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know who this person is. Kinda just forgettable. Kinda like them all, but he's the health minister? Something like that? What was he?
Parliament.
To let out all that energy.
I was the first health minister.
He is the health minister of Canada, and the first thing that pops to his brain to bring up to the world stage is the fact that he cares about something that isn't even really definable, which is pleasure. That's your greatest achievement of health minister in Canada, is that you cared about something that is not necessarily defined? Like, I mean, sure, great, something you care about. But then he goes on to talk about how he is talking about the whole entire pronoun game. And so it makes it totally clear as to why he decided this was the opus to bring up. Was the fact that he stood up for the pronouns game. Like, once again, the Liberal Party telling on themselves that they don't understand biology. They just don't. They don't get it. They don't know how to connect with Canadians. They don't understand what makes up Canadians. And they also don't know how many Canadians there are because they don't understand numbers, I guess. But what are you gonna do about that, I guess?
The current Minister of Climate Change, Stephen Guilbeault, has always been a lifelong Liberal.
Greenpeace is climbing the world's tallest building today to tell the world not to be fooled by the Liberal government.
Wait, no, I mean socialist.
I'm a Liberal and a proud socialist, Mr. Speaker.
Stephen Guilbeault spent part of his adult life as a radical environmental activist known for engaging in high-profile stunts that led to multiple arrests. By his early 30s, Guilbeault had climbed the CN Tower to protest against Liberal environmental policies and scaled the roof of the Premier of Alberta's residence. Today, he remains an avid eco-maniac.
As you know in life, the only two guarantees are taxes and death.
And so what do? You tax every Canadian to death. That's the answer, right? The answer to all of your climate worry is just tax everyone to death. You know, the only thing they're guaranteed. Continue it. How is it that we have these pointless jobs so high up in the echelon of prime ministry? Like, this is a nothing burger of a problem, and yet this dude is this close, neck and neck with Trudeau. How are they so close together? Like, this is such a not useful job, or not useful position in Parliament. Like, why is this a thing? Once again, Pierre is correct. Just wackonomics. It's all wacky. It's all wild and pointless.
How do all these wackos end up in one government?
And a Liberal member of Parliament was caught without clothes during the virtual House of Commons.
They share a common need for validation from their leader, Justin Trudeau, the so-called patriarch of wackos. It's a classic case of birds of a feather flock together.
Now, I just have to say, it is fascinating how so many people who are not at all fit for the job are at the job. You got Trudeau being the leader of the country who doesn't understand numbers. We have a finance minister who doesn't go through what most Canadians go through. And we have a job that is completely and utterly pointless. The climate dude, I forget his name already. Oh yeah, and then we have the health minister who cares more about getting appraisal by his people than actually doing something that is more, something that is of more worth for our society in the terms of health. Cared about pronouns, like, dude, most people don't care. Most people don't care about that. So, you're just bringing up something just for the sake of getting, oh my goodness, he's such a good person type vibes. It's like completely and utterly pointless. The point is, we have so many people in leadership who just should not be there because they don't understand what Canadians are going through. What most people are going through, that is. And so, it is completely wacky. It is not proper. But, just gonna pop in here near the end to just tell you, I'm not gonna be posting a video tomorrow. There will be on Monday, but not tomorrow, because it is the Sabbath. But, aside from that, I hope that you have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good one.